Hi, I'm Branden Neal, and today I want to talk to you all about building a hierarchy. And as I talk about this, I want to just start off by telling you a little bit about my story getting involved with this great company. My wife Lexi and I got involved with Primerica back in the beginning of 2001. And when I started in the business, I learned from our leaders, which their names were Branden and Ann Merton. And I remember Branden telling me his story of how he earned $100,000 a year his second year in the business. He actually made $18,000 his first year. He made $99,000 his second year. And I was 22 years old when I got involved in Primerica. And I thought to myself, boy, if I could make $100,000 at the end of my second year, I'd be so excited about that. In fact, if I could have made $50,000 a year running my own schedule, I would have been pretty excited about that. And the way that he said that he was able to earn $18,000 his first year and $99,000 his second year was by recruiting a total of 50 directs over his first 2 years in the business, which is an average of about 2 direct recruits a month for his first 2 years. Well, for me, at age 22, I didn't know anything about building a business. I didn't know anything about financial services, but I thought to myself, I could find a way to recruit 2 people a month into my business. I could find a way to do that. And so we made a goal right off the bat to make sure that we were always recruiting directs. And I think that's where, when it comes to building a hierarchy, if you want to do that, you've really got to set the tone and set the example of what you want your teammates to be doing and what they're going to need to do to be able to succeed themselves. And so all I did was copy what Branden Merton did. And our first 2 years in the business, I actually recruited 31 people direct to me my first year. And I recruited 44 people direct to me our second year in the business. So we actually recruited a total of 75 directs just because I wanted to make sure that I was recruiting enough directs. And through that, our first year we wrote an average of 4,000 personal premium our first year and an average of 7,200 in personal premium our second year. We earned just over $20,000 in income our first 12 months in the business, and then we earned $104,000 our second year in the business. And what that did is that allowed us to set an example of what we wanted to have be the prototype of our business. I really believe that Primerica is an opportunity where anybody who really wants to has the potential and the ability to earn $100,000 within a couple of years. I think someone should who joins the business and decides to get serious about it right away should be able to become a regional vice president within maybe a 12 to 18 month period of time and be able to get the ring, make $100,000 a year their second year. And so more than anything, I wanted to set the tone of what I wanted to see the motivated people that joined my team, I wanted them to do. And so that's where it all started out. And then what had happened is over the course of the next few years, we did a good job of building a base shop. We built a $30,000 base shop within our first 12 months of becoming regional vice presidents. And again, the way that we did that is we continued to recruit directs. We continued to recruit 2 to 4 directs a month and continue to write personal production, field training those new directs. And so through that, we ended up building teams. We ended up building direct legs. And I ended up getting wide in the base shop. When I talk about being wide, that means we had several directs that were actually turning in business on a monthly basis. And so over the course of 36 months, 48 months of being in Primerica, we got to where we had 8 productive legs, 10 productive legs. We've even had as many as 20 plus productive direct teams in our base shop at times. And what's exciting about that is you have the more directs you produce, the more producing directs you produce, the more competition starts to happen in your base shop, and the more automatic the production in your base shop becomes. And there for a couple of years, we kind of got stuck having a good base shop. Our base shop was doing 40, 50,000, maybe 60,000 production, but we got frustrated because we weren't producing RVPs like we wanted to. And I wanted to produce RVPs. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just Lexi and I that had the RVP contract and that we're making $100,000 or more a year, but that we could help other people do the same. And so I know a lot of people talk about build a big base shop and producing RVPs is automatic. I don't know that I agree with that for sure, because I feel that we had a big base shop, but we weren't producing RVPs. We really switched our focus. We had an opportunity to go learn from the founder of our company, Art Williams. And while we were at that event, I remember Branden Merton spoke at that event, again, my leader, and he said, if you really want to make great income in Primerica, you've really got to find ways to help your people make great income and help them become RVPs and make big income so you can make big income. And so we returned home from that event where we heard Branden Merton say that, as well as obviously we heard Art Williams and heard what he did to build this great company. And over the course of the next 12 to 24 months leaving that event, I believe that was in 2006 that we went to that event. So between 2006 and 2008, we went home and we produced several first-generation RVPs. In fact, between 2007 and 2008, I believe we produced 6 first-generation RVPs. And by that point, we were in the business for 7 years, and we went over $1 million a year in income at the ages of 29 and 26. And what had happened when we started to really look for ways to promote people to RVP is we ended up having a big base shop. Our base shop started doing 80, 90, 100,000 in production because we were looking at we had about 6 to 7 direct legs that were all fighting to go RVP. In fact, we came back from that event, and I remember having a discussion with my team saying, look, we want to promote RVPs. I mean, I want to make sure that, we promote RVPs like we're promoting district leaders. And I want to look for ways and find ways to help you become RVPs. And so as long as you can produce a good solid replacement leg and you can prove that you're solid outside of that replacement leg, I want you out as an RVP. And my honest belief today is, if we can have a lot of new money-making RVPs, that's going to breathe so much belief into our company that we're going to have more and more people that see the value of becoming a regional vice president with this great company. If somebody's averaging about 10,000 in production as an RVP, and they're good personal producers, I'd say a good personal producer is somebody who's doing 4,000 plus personal production, and they do a decent amount of investment income or investment business, they're going to be making a 6-figure income here. And I think that the better job we can do as RVPs and as leaders of this great company of producing new leaders that are doing that, I think the better. I also came to a realization that not everybody wants to make big incomes. There are people out there that if they can make 40, 50, 60,000 a year and run their own schedule and own their own business, they're happy as a lark doing that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with producing people that want to do that if that's what they want to do. And so, there are some people out there that want to be big RVPs, produce big hierarchies, and they can maybe do more. There may be other people who that's not what they really want to do here. I really, want to always work hard at identifying, helping people win based on their potential, not necessarily what I want them to do, but what they want to do and what they want to accomplish here. And I think all great coaches and leaders do that for people. They help bring out the best in themselves so that they can really win. And so, again, I think that when it comes to building a hierarchy, of course, it's going to start with that personal example, that setting the prototype of what needs to be done. Those 2 to 4 directs a month. There's a lot of people that are near-term RVPs right now, or maybe they're RVPs right now. So near-term RVPs, the only thing is keeping them from going RVP, or maybe the RVP who doesn't have the ring yet that really wants to get the ring. I think most of them, if they just fixed a couple things, they'd be able to take it to that next level. And I think those couple of things, in my business, with my experience, have been if you can start recruiting directs, 2, 3, 4 directs a month consistently, and through field training those directs, you can make sure your personal production is solid. Again, 4, 5, 6,000 a month on average. I think through that right there, for most people, if they would continue to maintain that, the other parts of the business, the leadership and building eggs and building teams, you can learn as you're doing that. I think the mistake people make is they're trying to do that personal production based on too little of effort. They're trying to recruit 2 to 4 directs a month, and they're only working with maybe 8 8 or 10 people at a time. Well, for me to recruit 2 to 4 directs a month for a 4 or 5 year period of time, I was always working with a top 100 list of people. And that was my list that I was always farming. And then every day, I would add 3 to 5 new prospects to that list. And then through working those numbers, so every day I'd talk to 4 or 5 people on my list. And I would follow up with them. I would just say, hey John, Branden, how you doing? Just want to give you an update. Hey, I just got a promotion this last month, or hey, we just had a record month last month, or we just won a company trip, or I'd give them updates. And I'd say, John, I know you're not interested in doing our business at all, but who have you ran across recently that might be interested? And I'd ask for referrals. And if they didn't give me any referrals, I'd say, well, you keep me in mind, and I'll keep in touch with you. And I'll call you maybe next month. I'd call them a month later, and I'd do the same thing, give them an update. And I might say, hey, I just earned $8,000 last month, and I know you're not interested in doing our business at all, but who do you know who would be? And then in addition to that, I'd always be out face-to-face prospecting, meeting new people, adding new people to that list as well. Now, it's interesting today with our organization that we have today. We have 13 regional vice presidents and an organization that's growing right now. I don't know of anybody that I actually still have in my organization that was recruited out of a cold market. However, I would recruit people out of a cold market and get appointments and get into some warm markets to keep myself in business while I was farming my top 100 list of a warm market. And through that, we were able to stay in business long enough to build a business. Okay, so again, that's how I set the prototype, and I think that a lot of people they try to go, how do I move people? How do I move people to go RVP? How do I get them excited? Well, I think the way you move people is you set the example first of what needs to be done, and then moving people, I believe, becomes automatic because they see you doing month in, month out what they need to be doing. On the leaders boards, my personal numbers were always 2, 3, 4, 5 directs a month, right in that ballpark. And I was consistently writing, 4, 5, 6,000 personal premiums. So they would see that month in, month out. So when I would do my training meetings, or I would do a conference call with my team, or even a one-on-one training, the motivated ones listened more intently because they saw that I was doing what I was teaching them how to do. And I see a lot of people trying to move people or get them to do the things they want them to do, but maybe their people aren't listening to them to the extent they could be or should be because they haven't seen their leader do it. And I had to do it for several years. When I got into the business, I was only 22. I looked like I was probably 14. I didn't have a lot of leadership experience. And so for me, I knew that going into the business, that if I was going to have people listen to me, I needed to prove to them that I knew what I was doing. And the reality is I didn't always know what I was doing in the beginning, but I made up for it with more activity and more effort. And so when it comes to building a hierarchy, a lot of people they build a base shop, okay, which is great, and that's a great start. But I think in order to take it from a base shop to building a hierarchy, we've really got to do a better job as leaders of identifying those in our base shops that can be independent. Let leaders lead. There's a lot of leaders in our base shops. I think sometimes we have a tendency to try to get everybody to do everything the exact same way. Well, leaders, they want to do things their own way. And we have to find ways to be unified as a base shop, but at the same time, if they have great ideas, help them see they can implement those ideas. When they become RVPs, they want to be, I remember being in Branden Merton's base shop. I wanted to do a lot of things my way, even when I was in his base shop. And what was great about him is he allowed me to do that when I was in his base shop. He even allowed me to run some of the training meetings, some of the conference calls. And we need to be doing that with our leaders in our base shops and allowing them to have that responsibility and start thinking, acting, and talking like RVPs before they become RVPs. Not only act, talk, walk, and think like an RVP, but thinking like an RVP is the biggest part of that. So act, talk, walk, and think like an RVP. What can we do as leaders to help our people think more like RVPs? So I hope that helps all of you. We need more and more good, strong, solid, new, successful money-making RVPs out there. And we're committed to make that happen. We hope you are as well. Thanks.